season will be the highlight of their lives.
Perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great highlights of the
highlights of your eyes are completely unbalanced. You want people to stare?
By highlighting the geographical proximity.
Amongst next year's cultural highlights, I greatly look forward to Benjamin Hart.
How was your day?
As always, this is the highlight.
Highlight of my life. Thank you very, very, very much.
You gotta read the highlighted portion.
Those were the highlights of the 19th century Industrial Revolution.
You were big in Vietnam. I saw the highlights on television.
And you wouldn't have any...
You and I know that for some of these kids, this basketball season will be the highlight of their lives.
Well, I think that's the problem.
have you done? Perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great highlights of the sale, lot 414.
This is Bob starting of the highlights of the living
Time now.
Are we almost done yet?
The highlights of your eyes are completely unbalanced. You want people to stare? I can't use the kerosene because...
By highlighting the geographical proximity of ʻhaɪ.laɪt and ʻhaɪ.laɪt,
I'm gonna wear a cape.
but what matter?
I might want
Amongst
with
next year's cultural highlights, I greatly look forward to Benjamin Hart in the key role of the wizard. And indeed,
How was your day?
As always, this is the highlight.
I was thinking of going hunting.
It's to me to get this honor from you. The highlight of my life. Thank you very, 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 very much. And this man, James Riddle Hoffa.
Doyle bought Remy from Louisiana back in '72.
You gotta read the highlighted portion.
And those were the highlights of the 19th century Industrial Revolution. Now, the 20th century had some of the greatest inventions.
Like they do everybody else.
All I know is you were big in Vietnam. I saw the highlights on television.
And you wouldn't have any fucking idea what it means to lead some of the finest men on God's earth in the...
You're completely blonde down there. Yeah, that's why I make Anthony do the highlight so that it matches. I can't believe we're doing this.
Dawn, 4.5 years of the no-wash protest. As much as it's highlighted republicanism to some extent, it's also distracted from the wider development of the organization.
That's because...
Oh, that's incredible. That was a true highlight. I was going to say good luck.
This would have been better resolved on dry land. And if the goal was to highlight certain advances, trimaran as the caravan at the sea and so forth, we're not putting our best foot.
It's a trip to a nature reserve in Pennsylvania. It is the highlight of the year. I promise you. Oh, good, they're here.
I mean, we're saving lives. It's all highlighted in my book. I lay out the whole thing.
Many of the violent protesters are part of the left.
In shadows, blushes, and lipstick. Everything you need to accent and highlight your changing look.
My changing look. That's good.
Self-images coalesce to provide an experience which will highlight the fragility of our perception of space and our place within.
This is our part. The statement was revised for that paragraph there, highlighted. From the statute objected to movement.
Bear House, but actually, yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was definitely the highlight of the evening.
before the craft fair, in between the dog show and the shoot.
And don't forget the highlight, Mother's Christmas dance is the hot ticket of the season.
Design-wise, we're very much embracing your philosophy of highlighting the original architecture of the space. Okay, so right here, I'm thinking big, communal.
I'll submit our sessions to the judge, specifically highlighting the time you were locked in the surveillance room and when you spoke to her in the forest, but...
Give me a minute to get set up here, and you're gonna glance some slides that commemorate the highlights of the Silver 60s when the princess here hit old Gotham.
Dale made her swallow it before he bagged her. That's pretty much the highlights. Got questions?
And for the 100th time, right?
Well, basically, yes.
Then he's on to the highlights with the ochre and the gray and all of that, and then he finishes with the final touches of his
strictly platonic relationship with the dogs.
I'll make sure to highlight that in the article, sure. So, you're not dating anybody?
Spoken with Colonel Kuldu, and highlighted the names we're looking for.
Okay, I want to check for you.
No suicide.
Anything else?
Those were the highlights. Davio, Dr. Vernon, Dr. Irway.
We'll be
here. Highlight the Unisphere.
Yourself out of trouble.
All right, then tell me, what are the highlights of the state? Don't tell me you've never been here.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you could read this for us, Mr. Corliss, I've highlighted the part I'd like for you to read.
I'm not good at reading.
Mr. Leslie.
Turner.
Little maid, Gambo's gown, left foot instep, touch of highlight.
Thank you, Turner. Painting's always...
Maybe not the actual truth. Highlights.
Now on to the highlight of the auction. This Napoleon III, marble top, mahogany right.
In 1966, you were in...
Waters, notorious for his aggressive style of play and devastating hits that filled highlight reels. Waters died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So the moment 1,000 thieves have dreamt of was the highlight of their lives. Let's hope their dreams don't come true, sir.
Not so bad, huh? Here's some highlights from last week's rehabilitation.
Morning's paper, the Daily Journal says that you are going to be the social highlight of the season.
Of the season? This is going to be a celebration like which this town's never seen.
Robert will be speaking at our Columbia Heights Jamboree and will be the highlight of this year's celebration of Scottish heritage. The Brave Roy Pipe and Drill Team...
I'm not having orgasms.
You sure? They be highlighted in red.
No. No orders.
Don't worry, they're going to have soccer highlights on soon enough. That's for your Mexican half.